Hello, welcome to episode 12 of Between Two
Episode
Beans.
12.
I know
Awesome.
if we were eggs, we'd have like a full crate at this point, unless
Yeah,
you buy the big
I
one.
don't think it's called a crate though.
What
It's
do they put them in? Carton,
Carton. Yeah.
carton. Yeah, crate, a crate of it. Yeah. Well, there went that one. So
I think
but
a
we-
crate has 6 dozen.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind for the future then.
And I am wrapped up in my blanket because I'm cold. So it is what it is.
It's all right. You have the power of Thor on your shirt today. So
I
that
do.
was-
I do
that was
have
good.
power Thor.
That's the one thing I look forward to every stream is I look and see what shirt you're wearing because they're always so good. They're always, something that
I don't have
I can
that many
nerd out on.
shirts, so I'm sure it's many repeats, but
Yeah. All good. Well, we have some pretty cool stuff for us today. Let's jump right in and spill the beans, actually,
all right.
because this is some pretty big news. Pretty important, actually, too, I would say. And
Yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah, I've seen this tweeted in a few places. I know Mark Tucker, I
Yep.
believe, had
Yep.
thrown this up as well, and super important. But it deals with accessibility, and specifically the different ways that Alexa is becoming more accessible to everybody else. So this isn't really an article, as it is kind of a splash page that dives into certain topics, but
if you do click into each one of these, it does have an article all to themselves, or many articles on many different features. So
right,
we're not going to go in depth into each one of these, but I figured we'd just at least touch on all of them at least.
yeah, absolutely. So the one that caught my eye first was, and I think I saw this in an ad on TV, but it was the one that says "What's in my hand," and it'll identify products with Alexa. So it's using vision. So any device with a camera, I assume, can take advantage of this.
Yes.
So they call it the show and tell feature,
Mm-hmm.
and it's designed to help people who are blind or have low vision, and it can identify common grocery items and other products. So you just simply stand in front of your device with the camera, whether that's a show or what have you, and say the phrase, what am I holding? And then it'll give you its best, I guess, interpretation of it. I haven't actually tested this out, but I think I'm going to. I don't know if it could do barcodes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of items have barcodes on them for grocery items. So even if you oriented it in a way, I know low vision makes it, or no vision makes it complicated, but if you can orient that object to point the barcode at the camera, I think that would give you a fairly accurate description. But that one really, I think, would get a lot of use.
Yes. What a bit.
Yeah, I would use it in the middle of the night sometimes. But yeah, pretty cool. I like that one. Speech. If you dig into speech a little bit, I think this has been here for a little bit, but you can alter how fast or the speed of your responses, and also extend the time that Alexa is listening to you. So if your speech, we call it dysphasic, so you have trouble speaking, and you are, I'm going to synthesize this here, but if you talk very slow or at a different pace, sometimes it's going to catch all of that and still be able to send that out. Does that make sense? So your speed at which, your rate at which you produce your vowels and your consonants are getting captured, and then it's also leaving that listening window open for a little bit longer in order to make sure it's catching your entire intent. So I think that was there, but I think it's starting to be brought up a little bit more, brought more to the forefront, which is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And I even if you don't speak slow, like sometimes you just don't know what to say. So you're like, what am I trying to say? Oh, especially with me. So I'll start the opening phrase and I'll be like, oh wait, what was I gonna say now?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll start to say a thing and then I forgot what else I was trying to say. So
Right.
yeah, this is a big thing for many different aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you know anything about tap to Alexa? This that I'm highlighting here.
So I believe what this one does for tap to Alexa is it changes the almost user interface. So it gives you that black screen with icons on it. So it's more of like a GUI, a graphical user interface type of system, um, which kind of surprises me for a voice technology to bring that up. But I see the value in it. Um, Sometimes for those who do have difficulty speaking or getting their thoughts together, those
Yeah.
types of things, it can be easier just to simply reach out and touch that device.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that this works on any Amazon Alexa device with a screen.
Okay.
So everything is compatible with it. Even the Show 15 that's super large. I know the touch points on those are also larger as well. So that's definitely good from accessibility standpoint.
Nice.
I know people, I've mentioned this before, but people with Parkinson's where they have the tremors and
Mm-hmm.
the movement. Typically voice I feel would be a better option, but this can also work for them as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's
Yep.
what Tap to Alexa is. I think it gives you 8 or 9 or 10 icons on a grid based on your
Okay.
screen size, and then an icon, and then you can tap that and it'll dig down into other menus. But I did watch a video and it looked very simple, which is
Okay.
good, which is kind of what you want for
Right.
these types of
Yeah.
things. I know there's closed captioning as well, so it'll repeat things back to you. So if I say, "Hi, my name is Kevin," it'll put "Hi, my name is Kevin" on the screen. And then if Alexa, or let's say, "What's the weather?" So Alexa, "What's the weather?" It'll say, "What's the weather?" on the screen, so that it knows what you said, or it's showing you what you said. And then when it does the weather, even though it has it on the screen, sometimes it'll do that background and it'll show you different days of the week with the weather, or different hours of what the weather is. It'll also have um, that little closed captioning, the text at the bottom as it's speaking that out.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really, really good.
That is it, I think in the vision part. No.
Um, it might be actually. Is it at the bottom of the vision piece?
Show and tell. Screen
Hearing,
reader.
hearing, how to see Alexa's responses
Okay.
is what it is, and then it breaks
There,
it
yep.
down
Yep.
further
Yep.
into, yep,
Yep.
and that's where it goes into that closed captioning, and then also that preferred speaking rate. So that's good too.
Yeah, for sure.
I know there are certain things that I listen to, certain podcasts and things that I'll listen to. Just the hosts and things, they speak a little bit slower, so I'll pick it up to like 1.5, speed
Mm-hmm.
that up, and listen
Mm-hmm.
to it that way. And then there's other ones that there's 4 or 5 of them, all talking about things, and then I'll slow it down sometimes because they talk over one another and everything. So I could see that being useful in this case as well.
Mm-hmm. For
But
sure.
there's a lot that's coming out on this accessibility front,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm glad that it is. I'm happy to see it coming. I'm looking forward to seeing it develop even further.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd love to be able to speak with. I'm sure they did a lot of testing with this
Mm-hmm.
for reaching out to individuals who could take advantage of certain aspects of this more than I can. I would
Right.
love to be able to get their perspective on it.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
I know there is 1 or 2 testimonials for it, but it'd be nice to actually just get their firsthand experience and how
Mm-hmm.
they used it and what their feedback was and whatnot. And as I've said in the past, we start moving into voice technology and putting these types of devices in more and more places, like the hospitals, the nursing homes, dentist offices. I think this is just really going to help out.
For sure.
Yeah. So it'll be neat to see where it comes. But
Well,
yeah,
I didn't even share that.
Oh.
Let me share that link with everyone.
Yeah, sure. So,
But yeah, I think that covers pretty much just a low overview or a high overview, sorry,
Mhm.
of all of them. But there's plenty of information. Dive in as much as you wish. And I'm sure we'll still touch on a few things here and there in
Mhm.
other episodes.
Yeah. And the last thing that I'll say about this before we move
Yeah.
on is this makes me think about how to be a better developer
Mm-hmm.
for these. Like a lot of these features are built into the device itself. You know, the
Right.
touch interface that is, and the responses with
Mm-hmm.
closed captioning. Those are all built in. But if there's a way that I could make skills better by utilizing these features or thinking about these features, that's definitely something I want to be better at. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well done for Amazon for pushing this. And do you
For
know,
sure.
is this newer? You had found this and you had seen it tweeted, but
Yeah, I'm guessing it's somewhat newer,
Mhm.
but there is no date on it. So
Right. I didn't see anything, but yeah, really good resource. Really good.
yeah.
But with that, I found a new trivia skill called Big Brain Trivia,
All right.
and I don't know anything about it. That's typical with
Are
our
you cheating
trivia.
again?
I'm not cheating. I don't think I cheated the first time. The one
Last
time that
time?
I think you're referencing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man. No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Back me up here, Emily. Back me up.
Okay, big brain trivia.
Big Brain Trivia.
Open big brain trivia.
Welcome to the Big Brain Trivia.
It's a blueprint.
1 to 4
Mhm.
players can play. How many are playing?
2.
Player 1, give me a nickname to call you, like Rocking Robin or Crazy Cat.
Wasp.
Hi Wasp. Get those big brains ready. To revise your player name, say undo. Player 2, give me a nickname to call you.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Hi Ant-Man. Put on your thinking caps.
Ant-Man.
Let's start. Remember to answer quickly. First to 5 points wins.
Okay.
To undo an answer, say undo. This first question is for Wasp. What was the first video game? Is the answer 1. Magnavox Odyssey, 2. Pong, or 3. Nintendo Entertainment System?
Yep. That was it. Number 3. 2.
You said 2. Pong. Not quite. The correct answer
Really?
was Magnavox Odyssey.
What?
The Magnavox Odyssey was the first game
Really?
console to come out in the early 18th or 19th century.
What?
Ant-Man's turn.
I thought it was
Boy
palm.
splashes buckets of water on his head at a rate of 5 buckets an hour. How many buckets will he have splashed on his head in 100 hours?
Wait, what? This is math? What?
The answer: 1, 100, 2, 500, 3, 1,000, or 4, 5,000.
I wasn't even listening, but let's go with 3.
3.
You said 3, 1,000. No. The correct answer was 500. Wasp's turn. You are standing in a cave and there are 2 tunnels. One leads to the surface, one leads to a giant lava reservoir. You have 3 things: a rocket launcher with only 1 rocket left, a match, and a flashlight. Which do you use to determine which way will lead you to safety? Is the answer 1, rocket launcher,
Yeah, rocket launcher.
2,
Oh, definitely.
match, or 3, flashlight?
Match.
Clap, clap, clap. You now have 1 point. The match's flame won't do anything if you hold it up to the tunnel with the lava. If you hold it to the tunnel that leads outside, the flame will fluctuate because of the air that's coming in. Ant-Man's turn. Which one of these meats are not made from pig? Is the answer 1, bacon,
Really?
2, steak,
I like this question.
or 3, ham?
2.
2.
Yay. You now have 1 point.
I don't know why they're all of a
Steak
sudden.
is made from
I was
cow.
going to ask that too, yeah.
Wasp's turn. What are the spots on a potato? Is the answer 1, ears, 2, eyes, 3, freckles, or 4, chicken pox?
2.
You
There's a
have
lot of
very big
twos.
brain. You now have 2 points. Ant-Man's turn. What is 6 times 6? Is
Do
the
we have
answer
to wait, or
1,
can you just say it?
You can
36,
say it.
1.
2, 12,
You sure?
3,
I'm positive.
6?
1.
Yay. You now have 2 points. Wasp's turn. If a man washes dishes at a rate of 20 dishes an hour, how many dishes will he have done in 5 hours? Is the answer 1?
3.
Wow, you exist. You now have 3 points.
Yay.
2 times 5 is 10.
Huh.
Ant-Man's turn. COVID-19 is believed to have originated in. Is the answer 1, China,
1.
2,
1.
wow, you exist. You now have 3 points. Wasp's turn. RGBTGBGBGGRGRGR. How many letter B's are there? P.S. If your Alexa-enabled device has a display, please, for the sake of fun and fairness, no peeking. Is the answer 1,
No peeking, Will. No peeking. No cheating. No cheating.
3,
Will.
4?
Will, I can see the reflection in your eyes.
4.
Uh-huh.
You said 4.
I said
6.
4. I
Not
meant
quite.
Oh, you
3
said
3.
was 4.
Ant-Man's turn. It's raining what?
cats
Is
and
the
dogs.
answer 1, tacos,
I wish.
tomatoes, 3, potatoes, or 4, sour cream?
Wait, what? It's raining. What?
raining what?
Tacos.
Is the
Tacos?
answer 1?
1.
What?
Yeah.
Yay. You now
That's
have
weird.
4 points.
It's
From
over.
out of the sky.
What? It's over.
Wasp's
Oh,
turn.
I
It's
see.
over. Is the answer 1, 9, 2, 900, 3, 9,000,
You got it?
or 4, 9 million?
No.
It's 3.
3.
3, yeah.
Wow, you exist. You now have 4 points.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
This famous quote/meme is from Dragon Ball Z. Ant-Man's turn. You're standing in front of 3 doors.
Oh.
Door number 1 has a lion who hasn't eaten for 2 months.
Okay.
Door number 2 has a bunch of commandos and they have your picture. They will not hesitate to shoot on sight.
Well, that's a
Door
bummer.
number 3 has a black hole that will fling you to another dimension. Which door do you choose?
Number
Is the
1.
answer 1. Door number 1. 2. Door number 2.
1.
It's more like a riddle, you know.
Yay. You now have 5 points. Lions cannot survive without food for more than a few weeks. Yay, you're not gonna survive. Commandos. A black hole has such a gravitational force that it will squeeze and squish you, and by the time you get to an alternate dimension, you already be dead.
Well, that's
Okay.
unfortunate.
The results are: in the second place is Wasp with a score of 4 points. And the winning players is Ant-Man with a score of 5 points. You have an ultra big brain.
I love the
Want
dots.
to play again?
Yeah, let's get out of that. So I'm gonna have to look into this. And this has been a theme. Every blueprint skill that we've done has had this dot, but not every time I would expect a period in the other phrases. So I need to like create a blueprint skill and see what's going on. I'm real curious about something like that. Like, is it, I don't know, is it something at the end of like a speech? I don't know. I don't know how they do it. So I'll have to figure it out, see if I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Let
me know.
Weird, though. Yeah, I definitely will. That's kind of weird though, that the questions weren't on screen until it caught up to itself almost. Which makes me wonder, is that also part of the blueprint? Do you throw up like text and it automatically creates that background for you? Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to do a blueprint stream.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
it's not a bad idea.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I think some of those were riddles more than trivia. Math wasn't really trivia exactly. No.
Yeah.
But 0 reviews. If you like it, review it. Check it out. Big brain trivia.
Share it.
Yeah, all good. Cool. All right. Well, let's switch it. Excuse me. Let's switch into some Beaningful Conversation here. So, the past 2 years have been a little rough, right? We've had that pandemic going on, if anybody's heard of that.
Yeah.
And, it was interesting because some things were actually fully canceled and just didn't happen. Other things transitioned to remote, just completely online.
Right.
And you would log into a portal and view whatever content, what have you. So I think now we're starting to get back into these in-person events. But I do kind of like the hybrid part. I think that's a good mix of the two. If you're not close to a location, but you could still attend. So So the purpose of, or the topic of this Beaningful Conversation is we're getting into convention season. And so in the voice world, being a new field, it's surprising that there are quite a few different meetup conventions out there. They're spread out. There's, some on the East Coast, Central, and West Coast. They're pretty diverse. They each seem to have a little bit of their own focus, but for the purposes of this, they're mainly voice, some of them. But the first one that we want to bring up is Stir Trek, and this is in Columbus, Ohio on May 6th. And Stir Trek is one day, it's a Friday, and it focuses on teaching software developers and others in the industry there. It says, what is Stir Trek? You can read that as well. But this one is, I think there's 48 different sessions, and all of these sponsors here, I believe, have a speaker as well. So as you can see, you can pull that up. Perfect. So many different topics. There's data science, there's JSON, there's Blazor. I'm somewhat familiar with that. Pull request stuff, progressive web apps. That's interesting. But you can see that it's broken down into different categories, like architecture, professional skills. That's always important. IoT, security. Security's one. That's interesting. Mobile. I don't see anything specifically voice.
Nope.
But I'll bet you in the future there definitely will be. I think this will be a good topic. But 48 sessions in one day. That makes it really tough, doesn't it? To figure out your schedule of where you want to be.
You can't go to everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But also, what's extremely cool about this one is a private screening of Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. I can't even read.
That alone is worth the price of admission. Speaking of admission, $175. And I think that is very, very good. It's a very reasonable price for this.
Yes, it's very reasonable. You get quite a bit. You do get breakfast and lunch, refreshments during the movie. You also get swag mailed if you register before a certain date. I can't remember.
Yes. I want to say it was early April. So I think
that's early April as well.
But
yeah, you just click here to register, and the way you go. You can also register here if you cannot make the Columbus, Ohio. It is also going to be online. So, excuse me. You would be able to view it online as well. So that's an option for other people.
Yep. So for me, this would be about 3.5 to 4 hours drive time. So it's manageable. You know, if I would leave on a Thursday night, grab a hotel, just go. I might have to do that one. This would be right up my alley. I looked over some of the sessions, and even though I'm focused in voice, you know, there were a lot of side things that caught my eye too. And the thing about these conferences, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of these pieces and parts in between each one that we're going to talk about. But the thing about these conferences is the people that you see and you meet is just amazing. I mean, everybody goes in with this mindset of either learning, networking, just experiencing the environment, reaching out, talking to different people. There's so many different vendors that are at these things, just displaying their products, and always cool swag that you can get by going to each of their tables, and everything is always fun. I used to do this in the medical world, and a lot of it was just to get out of the office, which was nice. But you would go and just see the latest and greatest thing that they were pushing. And, you know, I have so many notepads laying around, so many pens and stickers and paperweights and everything that you get from just meeting and talking to people. And most of the time it was things that we really didn't utilize, but you still got to experience it and see what was coming up. And that was the great thing. You'll learn new techniques for different things. Like surgery was a big one. You learn different techniques or different ways of doing things. You also got to hear people's research, which was always interesting, in that you were always up to date, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But to translate that or parallel that into coding, it's the same thing. You get these speakers who are just extremely passionate, have a wealth of knowledge, and are just live coding on screen, just going through different concepts, different topics.
Yep.
And you can just sit there and pick their brain. A lot of them will do question and answer sessions. A lot of them do meet and greets afterwards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But even just from a networking perspective, let's say
Sure.
you're trying to get into some tech, get into some field or career path or whatever, and it's all about who you know sometimes, and you can strike up a conversation with people and just see where it goes. Conventions are just amazing resource.
I was going to say that it doesn't have anything voice related, but anything that you do to create voice, like database management, in JavaScript, Python, those things at a different level are very useful that you can still utilize within voice.
Right.
It might not be exactly the same way as you would create a skill. It'll still help you in the long run.
Absolutely. Well said.
But yeah, that's Star Trek.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next one, which is Voice Summit and also Voice Global.
Right. So this one here, the cost that I saw for this one, we're on Voice Summit. I'm sorry.
Voice Summit.
So this one is in October. So this is over 3 days, the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. So the 10th to the 13th. So is when it is. And it's in Arlington, Virginia. And you can see that they're looking for speakers still. And you can also pre-register. So I don't know what the cost of this is. I couldn't find any pricing. But if you pre-register, you can get 50% off, which is nice. And so the thing about this also is that you have to take into consideration lodging. A lot of times these conventions, you can get convention pricing for your hotel or what have you. So that's always something to keep in mind, that even though there's a cost, you can still kind of get some discounts here and there. But this one is focused all on voice, conversational AI. I see that's listed on the site.
Yep.
I think there's some design perspectives for just the best way to approach building a voice platform. As you can see, Will, that you're scrolling through, there's big names here. Jeff Blankenberg being one that we recognize, but also, Otto is on there. I've seen a couple podcasts with him on there. You also have Rebecca Nathanson. And let me pull this up too so I can see it a little bit. But some really well-known people in the community that know what they're talking about. So
for sure,
again, just a wealth of knowledge, a valuable resource. The question and answer sessions that typically come up after they're done speaking, always kind of convenient for somebody who's learning or just wanting to be able to expand their knowledge. So, I know they're still working on their speakers, so I expect to see this one grow a little bit more. But
this one also has been going on for 5 years. And in 2019 or 2020, that was the beginning, right, of the pandemic, or was it 2019?
End of 2019-ish to 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
2019.
Yep.
But I actually entered Cards of Wonder into a hackathon they were having during their Voice Summit, which this Voice Summit was online at the time because everything was closed, obviously.
Right.
So and I got second place for Cards of Wonder. So
nice.
I am a little partial to Voice Summit. They're wonderful people. And yeah, I also enjoyed the time at Voice Summit when I was there in 2019 or
Nice.
online. But there is Voice Global, which is in June 15th through the 16th.
Right.
Also an online conference.
Mhm.
So this one that you're looking at on the screen is the Voice Summit. But I actually didn't even have the Voice Global pulled up.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get that.
Sure.
Up.
Yeah. So the fact that this is in its 50th year, I mean, that just says how new the voice tech field is, first of all, but also they're one of the original conferences that have been in place.
For sure.
You know, they're the ones that I think a lot of others emulate and can grow with.
So
well, yep, go ahead.
let's see if
No,
they don't have a.
there's no cost to register.
You did you see it or no?
If you scroll up a little bit, it says no cost. What did that say? No cost registration.
No cost registration to Voice Global.
Okay.
With access to our 2021 content library. So that's awesome. So this Voice Global is completely free.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Plus, you get access to, again, the 2021 content library. So you get everything from last year as well.
Right.
So you can, and that's kind of nice because, like we were talking about before, whenever you go to these conferences, there are multiple rooms being utilized at the same exact time, and you just can't be in two places at once.
Right.
So to be able to kind of bookmark different sessions that you want to watch those live, and then afterwards go back and watch the video replays or the VODs is fantastic. I really like that.
Yeah.
I think I need to get myself registered for this one. This is June 15th and 16th. Thousands around the world. That's something else that's really nice too, is, you know, you and I, we're in the States and we're kind of isolated into our areas, but to be able to reach out and have a conversation with, you know, someone from another country, different perspective, different skill sets, different needs that they're building for, those types of things, is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
For sure.
And along those lines, I don't know if you've done this, Will, but Alexa Live, and they had those not really breakout rooms, but they were kind of side chat rooms where you could talk with different people that were in that same event session.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't actually do that.
I didn't do it either, but I saw how it worked, and I was able just to kind of be a fly on the wall.
Okay.
And I didn't really participate in that part of it, but that is another networking resource that's pretty cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
We do not have dates for that, unfortunately. Kevin was just talking about Alexa Live, which usually is sometime in the summer, also around June-ish or July-ish.
July, yeah.
Yeah, this is in June. Okay. Yeah, usually around July. But I know it's going to happen. We just don't have the dates or anything like that. So that probably will be coming out either in April or May, I'm guessing.
Sure.
But let's move on to Project Voice.
I'm rambling too much here. Let me jump into Project Voice. So this one here is from April 25th to the 28th in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And if you look, Will, you have it up right now. If you look, there's so many sponsors, big name sponsors on this one too. You know, Amazon Alexa, and then you have National Geographic is on here. You have AWS, of course. You have Verizon. That's an interesting one to see. And then you have Canary Speech, Audio Brain, Data Force, Willow Tree.
Open Voice Network.
Open
We
Voice
talked
Network.
about them last week.
Yes, we did. The same thing with Lenovo. Lenovo is another big name, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is actually the same. It's over multiple days. They have that Emily, who we had on our show last week, violin music is being provided.
What?
Violin music is being provided by Willow Tree conversation designer Emily Banzoff.
What? I'm not seeing it. What time did you say?
In the red, right there on your screen.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yep, pretty
Right
cool.
there.
Pretty cool. So, that one right there. I mean, that's worth the price of admission.
Mm-hmm.
Because her history with the violin was pretty impressive.
Right. Yeah.
So, but
exactly.
Yeah, Project Voice. I like the thought that I'm not familiar with Project Voice as much, but Oxygen Box says it used to be called the Alexa Conference, and he attended that one in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And what did you think of it, Oxygen Box? Was it something you would go back to? And what did you think of the kind of, if they did the format the same as in the past, these bite-sized little sessions? Do you think that's better or worse than maybe listening to someone for an hour at a time?
I definitely think it's better than an hour, because sometimes, depending on the speaker, depending on their voice and whatnot, and what they're speaking about, if it just doesn't, keep your attention,
Okay.
you might drift off a little bit. And
I understand.
at least that's what I've done in the past.
No worries. So the last one that we want to bring up is that conference. And when I say that conference, I mean that conference. So it is THAT, that.
.us.
.us is the URL for that. Oxygen Box says it was really good, smallish, and reasonably priced. Cool.
This Project Voice is a sticker shock. It is $999.
Okay.
So, they have a lot of content. They do.
Yes. Yeah.
You do, and I believe all the lunches are provided and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, and
for a developer like you or me, going out on our own doing it, I wouldn't see myself doing it.
Yeah.
For a company, footing the bill,
right?
I could see that.
Yeah.
But
I haven't been in the tech world too long, but in the medical world, a lot of these conferences that we went to were paid for, because we had what we called continuing education units that we had to have every 3 years. You had to have so many of them and whatnot, and a lot of these sessions that you would attend could potentially count for that. So there was that incentive, and then we get like a per diem per day and stuff that we could blow on nachos. So I ate a lot of nachos.
Nice.
But are you familiar with that conference?
I'm familiar with the main developer who created this website.
Okay.
I watched his streams when he was creating this website. He is very, very smart, brilliant, I guess should be the word I use. So there is 2 conferences. One is in Texas, which is May 23rd to the 26th.
Okay. So
all these are over multiple days. And then one is in Wisconsin Dells. I think this Texas one might be newer.
Okay.
But this Wisconsin Dells, I definitely believe it's been going on for a while now,
Okay.
many years. I do not know the stats or anything like that,
Mhm.
but tickets are on sale for each of them. I think. Well, I didn't mean to do that. I want to do this.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that part of their schedule. They had a meet and greet and a couple of registrations. They were doing a 5K as well with this.
cool.
Um, I didn't see a lot of the focus for what they got into, but their tagline was "by developers for developers."
Mm-hmm.
So that caught my eye. I know they provided some charging stations that they had mentioned and pieces and parts, but I'm not exactly what all sure. Excuse me, not exactly sure what all they got into.
Gotcha.
But yeah, kind of neat. Geeks helping geeks become more awesome every day. That's what they said. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Um, so just to kind of recap here, we have the Stir Trek, which is in Columbus, Ohio, and it's $175, 48 sessions. So you kind of have to, and it's just one day,
Mm-hmm.
May 6th. And so you kind of need to pick and choose what you want to go to. But it is also hybrid. That was something I wanted to bring up. So you do have the option for being hybrid. So I think those details they're still being worked out how that's going to work. But I think that's a really good one to kind of keep an eye on. Then you have your Project Voice and your Voice Summit. Those two are kind of the big names in the field that everyone is kind of familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that. So Voice Global is 100% online. And I think
Correct.
that's going to be one that I'm going to try to attend based on my schedule. I think I'm going to try and jump into that one. And I'm really going to try for Star Trek. With us just talking about it back and forth, I think that's something I need to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try as well
mm,
to head over to Star Trek.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah,
but we
we'll
have that
see.
one.
Oh,
We have that conference.
yep, that
So
conference.
and it's nice that those are in other areas as well. They're not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily East Coast, West Coast for
Yep.
the people stuck in the middle that need to do extra traveling. So you have Texas and Wisconsin for those ones.
Yep.
So pretty cool. But I think when you go to these conferences, it's really good to keep an open mind. Just go in with the experience of or the mindset of being open to networking, learning. Um, I always took like a side bag, computer bag thing that went over one shoulder, and it wasn't a man purse. I want to make that very clear, but it was like a satchel thing for notebooks, my laptop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Because you're always getting your swag. Every booth
Mm-hmm.
that you go to always has something. All these vendors, but even the pamphlets and things or the paperwork that you inevitably get, um, even just to keep your stuff in there. That's something I recommend for conferences and conventions. But yeah, we're getting into convention season. It's nice to see things in person again.
Yep, for
But
sure.
like I said at the beginning of my rambling, I do appreciate the hybrid approach. For people who are uh, farther away, or maybe it's just not comfortable being in too large of crowds and things like that just
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Yep.
Having this
Yeah.
online flexibility is amazing. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. We did have a bean taste test this week that ties into conferences, and it's called the Conference Contact Helper. And I don't know if you want to fire it up or not, or I can just kind of go through the description of this.
Yeah, you can
But
just go through it.
yeah, yeah. So this was actually created by a developer who he's at this convention conference, and he's running into people left and right, and he's collecting business cards. And oh yeah, when I get back to the office, I'll email you and I'll call you on this day about this thing and all that. And he was kind of getting things confused, so he created this voice skill to manage his contacts and why he was talking to that person. So if I met you at a conference, Will, and I'm like, oh man, we really connected, and we're going to collaborate on a skill together, and it's going to be a an RPG type of skill, right? And so I get back to my house like 3 days later after being through a whirlwind of sessions and everything, and I have your card, and I'm like, wait, what was I talking to Will about? You know what I mean? This happens, and it happens all the time. It's when you get into these situations, you meet somebody, you shake their hand, and you introduce yourself, and then you walk away, and you're like, what was that guy's name again? That's what happens at these conventions. It does, But he created this voice skill that collected the person's name, their contact information, like their phone number or their email address, and the reason that they talked to this person. And then they could set a reminder to respond back to them eventually. So yeah, there you go, Will. So the description here, this is one of the longest descriptions I've ever seen for a skill.
Yeah.
But
that's legit.
Yeah, but this actually came out of a real world use case for this developer who thought, hey, I can solve a problem by creating this skill. And so just reading through it and everything, I agree with him. I see the value in this skill. I don't know. It has to be very, very quick and easy if I was going to use this in a convention setting. First of all, voice in a convention setting is probably difficult. There's a lot of loud noises, side conversations, even service like Wi-Fi or cell service can be tricky in these types of buildings and congestion. But yeah, I could see it being a way to organize your thoughts at least. So there's potential there. It currently doesn't have any reviews, but if you go to a convention and you want to give it a shot, by all means, let us know if it helps you out. And
for sure.
I think I'm going to enable this one and I'll play around with it. Maybe I'll do a follow-up. So, yeah, pretty cool. But that was kind of our bean taste test. We didn't really try it out, but I don't think we need to. We don't have that for it. But if you want to jump into a bean of the week.
Alrighty. So mine actually comes from kind of like my side hobby.
Okay.
It's not really a job or anything like that. But I utilize a company called Printify. Printify. Yeah. So if you want these like amazing posters or any of my t-shirts or do I have hats? I don't think I have hats.
If you had a hat, I'd probably get a hat.
I don't think I have hats. But anything with the Tales of Old logos on it, or like I said, I've been creating posters, and there's many other items that I use Printify for.
Okay.
I mean, if you were to like go to a printing company and say, I want this t-shirt, it would be like, okay, I need $30 or more. And then it would take, 2 weeks or whatever. But this, it's print on demand. So you load up your logo or whatever you want to print on the shirt. And then you put on the shirt or the object that you're trying to print, and then you can shop around for pricing depending on the printing, where you're at, where you think your people will be at, or some of these printing companies have multiple locations.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can really think about it, or I just picked the cheapest one.
That works.
So
So
yeah.
they're a one-stop shop, basically.
Yeah.
You upload what you want, where you want it to be uploaded, or what you want it to be uploaded to.
Yep.
And then they handle all the shipping and everything.
Yep. And then you can just put, if you have a store, like a Etsy store, like me, you can just you can actually link your Printify to Etsy or many other WordPress. There's a WordPress plugin.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy to get a store up and running, and you don't have to handle the back end stuff. I mean,
Right.
you have to. They will charge you the price of the shirt and the printing,
Mhm.
and also the shipping. So you might have to figure that out on your end, on your Etsy shop, to say, I want shipping to be this much, whatever. So, but for the most part, it's pretty easy, and it takes a lot of stress off of you. You don't have to have a lot of quantity stocked up, or anything like that. So
yeah, it's not like you have to have 200 shirts laying around your own house or anything like that. Yeah. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed Printify. And also you get a discount if you want, like, if I want a shirt, you get a discount on the shirt. So I could, like, when I got these posters, I got a discount on these posters.
Cool.
So you can actually see what the quality is, before you start selling it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty cool, like I said, one-stop shop. Yeah. Neat.
For sure.
It's always nice to be able to integrate those things too. Like you said, they have a WordPress plugin, and then just your Etsy store, you can tie it together. It's pretty cool. Cool. Well, mine's not that interesting. I started looking into just other certifications and just learning new things and whatnot. And I think I wanted to pick up the Security Plus certification, if you're familiar with that. It's just kind of a networking, just knowing how technology and different things are secured. So I picked up, just kind of like basic practices of how the internet works, and don't use ABC123 as your password, that kind of thing. So I picked up this course. Excuse me. I picked up this course about a week ago after our last stream, and I've made it about halfway through. And it's good because in a previous role, I have my A+ certification. And Networking Plus. So I have those two. So I figured I'd just shoot for Security Plus just because. But I don't really have plans to do anything with it or anything, but it's just kind of something to tie everything together. And I went with this Mike Myers Total Seminars course, and it's not too bad. There's 2 different instructors in it. The one is very, very good. He's kind of quirky and has a good sense of humor to him and kind of makes things fun with some props. So it keeps your attention. And then the other one's good too, but it's a different learning style.
Gotcha.
So I'm working on getting through this course and probably schedule the exam, because I can take the exam at the local university, because our local university is a testing center.
Oh, okay.
So I can just go ahead and do that. And they also give you a discount when you complete this course. So that's kind of nice. So
Nice.
I'm always up
Very
for
cool.
learning new things, trying to just improve my skill set,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to be a little more knowledgeable. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good course. I'd recommend it. So,
Very cool.
but yeah, I like the security side of it. That's kind of interesting, and how we get into locking down things a little bit better. So, but that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
almost actually went to get my, what is it called?
cybersecurity or
Hacker, ethical hacker.
okay, like a penetration testing or something like
Um, it's also a certification,
that. Okay.
but but yeah, I it was so dry, so
Yeah.
dry. I couldn't get into it.
That's the
But
thing. That's the thing with the tech field. There's so many different pathways and so many
mhm,
different little nooks and crannies that you can get yourself into.
yeah,
So
for
this is
sure.
just one that I have the A plus, I have the network plus,
Yep.
and then security plus just kind of ties in with it. So it's just something I figure I can put on my LinkedIn for funsies. So pretty
Sounds
cool.
good. Cool.
But did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up or talk about?
I don't.
Okay. Okay.
Nope.
Well, we have episode 12 wrapped up.
Wrapped
The,
up.
the carton, not the crate, but the carton of eggs, So, but this was a really good stream. I'm glad we had this one up.
Yeah.
Do you?
I was just gonna say I don't have any plans for next week.
Okay.
So
Okay. Uh, are you around next week? Is that right? Are we still planning?
you know what? I'm not around next
Okay,
week. That's
that's
probably why I don't have any plans.
I was dancing around it. I didn't want to say anything specific, but until we
I'm
finalized
not
it.
around next week.
Okay.
So
So next week.
yeah, next week we'll be out. We'll be
Okay.
back on the 5th.
Perfect. All right. Yeah.
So even my Sunday stream, don't look for me on Sunday either. I just realized that. So
Okay. Yeah.
so
No
my
worries.
Sunday stream will be back on the 3rd, and this stream will be back on the 5th. So
Perfect.
till then,
Yeah.
have a good one and stay safe, everyone.
Yep. Take care, everybody.